Hey, welcome back to Cobb's Q. Sorry it's been a minute since we've got the last video out. The boy is 3 weeks away from doing his Eagle project, so we've been very busy. And then he got to go spend time in Cozumel scuba diving over spring break. So, kid's having a really good time. Today, I wanted to bring back a little memory for him, and we are doing taco al pastor. This thing is fantastic. You want to go out and get yourself a Trompo King if you're using a big green egg, or even if you're using a pellet grill, as this thing is fantastic to make taco al pastor. Another thing I realized later today is it only took 2.5 hours to cook, where I was expecting 3.5 to 5 or 4 hours. So every piece of meat is different. We started with a pork butt that was 7 pounds bone in. We trimmed that out. And now we're going to go outside and we're going to make the marinade that's going to go on the meat. So to get this together, we're going to use 2 teaspoons of butter. We're going to use a half a medium onion, kind of chopped up. We're going to use a cup of chicken broth. We're going to use 1/3 cup of white vinegar. We're going to use 3 ancho chilies that are dried. We're going to use 2 guajillo chilies that are dried. We're going to use 2 chipotle chilies with adobo sauce. We're going to use 1.5 tablespoons of achote powder. That's going to help it really get that red color. We're going to use 2 teaspoons of cumin, 2 teaspoons of Mexican oregano, 1.5 tablespoons of kosher salt, 1 tablespoon of sugar. Let's go ahead and we're going to get everything together. We've got our burner going. Put our 2 tablespoons of butter in there. And we're going to get our gloves on for the rest of this. We're going to get our butter melted down. We're going to get our onion in there. We're going to cook that down to just about translucent. Time to put the garlic in. Right as that garlic turns fragrant, we're going to go ahead and add our liquids. Now we're going to go ahead and add our peppers. Now, you can leave the stems on. I prefer just to rip the stems off. We're going to let them hydrate in, but it just makes it easier later just to rip the stems off. Make sure that the chilies are under the liquid, giving them a chance to hydrate. Let's go ahead and add our achote powder. Got pretty color in there. We're gonna add our chipotle chilies and the adobo sauce, and then we're gonna add all of our seasonings. We're gonna mix this up really, really well. And the idea here is just to go until those chilies have rehydrated. Once that's happened, then we're going to put it in a blender and we're going to blend all of this together. Once it's hydrated, we're going to go ahead and let this cool down for a bit. And while that's cooling, if you haven't, go ahead and take about a 4 to 5 pound pork butt and slice it. Or go to your local butcher and ask them to slice it roughly in 1/4 inch slices. I went ahead and took care of this last night, so we've got the pork inside the bin over here, make it a little bit easier. We're gonna go ahead and transfer the sauce over into our KitchenAid. We're gonna blend this up really well, and then we'll mix this in with the meat. Stand aside because all that red splatters on you. Granted, I got a red shirt on, but it will stain. Okay, let's grind this up till we get a nice sauce. What we're gonna do is we're gonna let this sit on the meat for 24 hours. So I'm going to take the meat, transfer it into a 2-gallon bag because I prefer to have it inside of a bag when I marinate. We're going to let this cool down further because we don't want to cook the meat. We only want to marinate the meat. Okay, our sauce is cooled off enough. Let's go ahead and get it onto the pork. All right, now we want to get that sauce over every piece of this meat. You just rub this together really well. Take out some of the air. Okay, we got as much air out of there as possible. I think we got a really good covering here. So we're gonna go ahead and place that in the fridge for 24 hours, and then tomorrow we'll make taco al pastor. So now it's time to go ahead and light the egg so that we can do the taco al pastor. Got 3 starters this morning. We got hickory in here and B&B hickory lump charcoal. We're gonna let this go till we hit 350, and then we'll get the pork on. Okay, our expander set today is set up with the plate setter, so we can do indirect cooking, and we'll place the Trompo King right here. We're gonna start off with a pineapple. We're gonna get this going, and then we are gonna separate the meat and make sure that we have the long and short pieces set aside on here. It'll help us later when we build the tower, if you will. So Let's go ahead and prep our pineapple. Just cut down the edges. All right, now that we got the pineapple kind of chopped up, we're gonna take this top. We haven't completely cut it. We're gonna just set it aside later for presentation. I don't cook with this on because this is gonna get all burned and charred, and it just looks prettier when it's not. So again, that's for later. This bottom piece, we're gonna go ahead and cut about 1/2 inch. Put a small little hole right in the center and throw that on the Trompo King. And right there is where our taco is gonna build upon. So now let's go ahead and get the taco ready. Okay, again, I'm gonna dump this straight out onto the table. And all I'm looking to do is when I slice this with my slicer, some pieces are gonna be shorter than others, and I wanna try to put them longer and shorter. It's gonna help later on, so just take the time and set these out. And they don't have to be exact matches, but you can tell I got a piece like this and I got a piece like this. These are gonna be separated. Okay, now that we got it separated, the reason we did that is even though it went through my slicer, sometimes some pieces get pulled and pushed and they end up shorter. So we're gonna start off with the long pieces. We're simply gonna stack these in opposite directions. Separating them also helps you just to get through this a little faster the next time. And we have that pineapple piece on the bottom. We'll keep going with these, and we'll end up stacking this all the way up the tree. Okay, so pick through the meat, and that seems to be the best slices. Now, the next thing we need to do is go ahead and place a piece of pineapple on the top of this so it's good to go. We don't want it too tall because the lid won't shut on the egg, but we want some of that to drip down onto the taco al pastor while we cook. And that's perfect, just like that. All right, we've hit 350 degrees. We're gonna put our meter probe in. We're gonna set that so we hit 145. By the way, I'd like to give a quick shout out to the North Texas Barbecue Addicts group on Facebook. Super people, awesome cooks. It's always fun to look at. So let's go ahead and we're gonna get this on. We're gonna get that as close to center as possible because it will hit the top. There we go. We're gonna let this go for a roughly 3.5 to 4 hours. It just depends upon how long it takes. That probe will do a great job of letting us know when it's ready. All right, so it's time to make our Pico De Gallo for the taco al pastor. Very simple recipe, we'll get through it. We have 8 Roma tomatoes diced up. We have half a white onion diced up. We have 3 serrano peppers, chili peppers diced. We have cilantro, a full head of cilantro. We have the juice of 1 lime. And we have 2 teaspoons of sea salt. And then we simply mix and let this sit in the fridge for at least 4 hours and really come together. And the flavor will be amazing. First thing, we want a little charred jalapeno. We're gonna place those in a bag. And as we make the rest of the sauce, we're just gonna let these steam. We are not gonna peel the skin, but we do want that char color. All right, to make our sauce today, we're gonna use half a teaspoon of smoked paprika. We're gonna use half a teaspoon of cumin. We're gonna use a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. We're gonna use a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. We're gonna use 6 cloves of garlic. We didn't bother chopping those because we're gonna go through here. We're gonna use 1 bunch of slightly chopped cilantro. We're gonna use a 1/2 cup of mayonnaise, and of course it's Duke's mayonnaise. We're gonna use 1/4 cup of plain yogurt. Use whole or low fat, your choice. I prefer whole. Next, I'm gonna put in 1/8 cup of Mexican La Crema. I've got the juice of 1 lime. Got 2 tablespoons of cotija cheese. Put our blackened jalapenos in. And now we're gonna chop this up real fine. And now we have a spicy cilantro sauce for the taco al pastor. Okay, every couple hours, we're just gonna come in here and anything that's come down, we're gonna rebaste. Okay, we'll come back in an hour and do it again. Okay, taco al pastor is ready. Oh, she looks so good. So let's bring this over. And we're gonna let that cool. While we let that cool, we're gonna go ahead and heat up some corn tortillas. Let's get a couple of corn tortillas ready. I always spritz just a little bit of water on each one of these. It helps them to not break apart once we use them and fold them in half. They'll be very pliable. Okay, we'll let those go for just a moment. Then we'll spritz water on them and we'll flip them, at which point they should be ready to go. And I'll flip them 2 or 3 times. Okay, now that we've cooled down, we'll take the probe out, set that aside. We want to take the top of the pineapple that we did earlier. We pulled off the old piece of pineapple, and now we just want to slide this down for presentation purposes and make it look good. So when you bring it out onto the table, it's got a pineapple on it, and trust me, this meat's going to be amazing. We're going to go ahead and do a little taste test. We're going to go ahead and slice down inside the meat. We want to mix that in with any of the sauces that came out into the Trompo King. So we'll take a tortilla, a little bit of the meat, fresh Pico De Gallo that we made yesterday. Take some of the hot cilantro sauce that we made. And finally, a couple pieces of pineapple. And that is our taco al pastor. Here we go. So the boy just got back from Mexico doing scuba down in
Cozumel.
Down in Cozumel. We get that mixed in to the juice. We're gonna give you the good pork. Some crispy bits. Now you can put a little bit of everything you want on there. So our fresh Pico De Gallo.
Oh man.
Just a bit. Put a little bit of our spicy cilantro.
Spicy.
And then a couple pieces of your
Pineapple.
Pineapple, that's right. And if you want, here's a little lime. You can squeeze a little bit of lime. I got mine ready.
That sounds good. You're gonna have to wait. I want every little bit perfect.
Okay, cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Enjoy. Mmm. Mmm.
That is good.
That is so good.
The pineapple.
The pineapple is sweet. You got the heat with the serranos over there and jalapenos over here. Oh, wow.
It's incredible, sweet and spicy. And the meat is really good.
And you can't beat the Trompo King. It makes such a nice presentation when you're doing the taco al pastor. Give this a shot. I think you're going to be very, very happy doing this at home. It's really easy. You find the Trompo King at Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below. And we hope you take a moment, give this a shot. It's fantastic pico, probably one of our favorites. Has a really good spicy cilantro sauce. And wow, taco al pastor. It takes a little while to marinate, but man, is it good. Is it as good as it was down south?
I'll tell you one thing. What's in my hands? It's gone.
Very good. Well, hey, we hope you take a moment. We hope you like.
And subscribe.
And thanks so much for taking time out of your day to come join us. Have a blessed day.